Israel continues to say no to a Palestinian state. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu argues it would give a huge reward to the unprecedented terrorism of the October 7th massacre.
The Washington Post reports the U.S. and its Arab partners are pushing to complete a timeline for a two-state solution after the war is over. CBN's Julie Stahl explains why a Palestinian state remains a non-starter for Israel.
After a call with President Biden, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again rejected the idea of recognizing a Palestinian state. Posting on X, formerly known as Twitter, he summed up his opposition in 2 sentences. Israel categorically rejects international dictates regarding a permanent settlement with the Palestinians. Such an arrangement will be reached only through direct negotiations between the parties without preconditions. Israel will continue to oppose the unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state. Such recognition in the wake of the October 7th massacre would give a huge reward to unprecedented terrorism and prevent any future peace settlement. The plan would include many steps rejected by Israel in the past, including evacuating many communities in the biblical lands of Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, along with a Palestinian capital in eastern Jerusalem and a combined government for the West Bank and Gaza. Israeli government spokesman Avi Hyman said, "It's not time to speak about the day after the war ends."
Now is not the time to be speaking about gifts for the Palestinian people at a time when the Palestinian Authority themselves have yet to even condemn the October 7th massacre. Now is the time for victory, total victory against Hamas. All discussions of the day after Hamas will be had the day after Hamas.
And today in southern Israel, a terrorist attack at a bus station, a shooter killing 2 and wounding 4 others before being stopped. Meanwhile, Israel criticized a United Nations official who told Sky News that despite its acts of terror, Hamas is not a terror organization, which is a position held by the UN.
I think it's very difficult. And as you say, I've worked with many different terrorist and insurgent groups. Hamas is not a terrorist group for us, of course, as you know. It's a political movement.
Posting on X, Israel's UN ambassador Gilad Erdan blasted Griffiths, saying, "You are no humanitarian. Sadly, you are a terror collaborator." Also, Netanyahu and other senior Israeli officials met with CIA Director William Burns in Tel Aviv to discuss talks for the release of the hostages. The Prime Minister earlier refused to send a delegation to Cairo for talks on Thursday until Hamas lessened its demands. Families of the hostages chained themselves together at the entrance to the Defense Ministry, calling for the War Cabinet to send a delegation to Cairo. And in Gaza, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari explained Israel's military mission in the Nasser hospital in Gaza, where Israeli intelligence believed bodies and hostages were being held.
According to the information we have collected, I can now share some of the terrorists who took part in the massacre of October 7th. They were found by our forces inside the Nasser hospital complex. If it weren't for Hamas starting this war, taking our hostages and hiding in the hospital, we wouldn't need to be in the hospital in the first place. Hamas started this war. Israel will end this war.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.